was almost like perfect timing because we were in like a spot where we were like, do we even want to build up here? Do we want to invest up here? And then we met Rhett. So it was almost just like
game changer.
Yeah, like perfect timing. So
yeah, and obviously, like especially where we are, like when we were about to build, we had everything all lined up and the rates just started to skyrocket. Material was going up like crazy. The housing market was going, and it was becoming insane. And we were about to pull the trigger, be like, all right, let's go pour the foundation. We had the plans right over here. And we're ready to go. And then thankfully we met you and we were like, oh, hold on, let's pump the brakes here and let's look at this route. And it's been absolutely unbelievable.
Hey guys, Rhett here. What is going on? I am beyond thrilled to bring to you two clients. Meg and Ryan, guys, are here today, and they have been in the program for a couple months. In a short period of time, they've already been able to amass 4 Section 8 rental properties in all different stages of the process. Guys, thank you so much for coming on here today. There's so many people that are going to be so fired up to hear your story.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, Rhett. We appreciate it.
We're happy to be here.
So guys, just if you can, give a little background on yourselves, who you are, what you do, and kind of what brought you into this and what kind of led you here.
Yeah, you want to start?
No, you can.
No, you can start.
I feel like they're good at this.
All right. Yeah, so, well, pretty much we've done everything together. Like this has been her and I the whole way. So this is our 14 years together today.
Yeah, our
14 years together today. So a little background about me, but I'm a local police officer here up in Massachusetts. And, I've been doing that for about 5 years, but we've always been very interested in real estate. We've done a lot of investing as far as the stock market and stuff like that, but we always really wanted to dive into real estate. And especially where we live, super difficult to get involved in.
Yeah, very.
Super difficult.
So where do you want to start? Like when we, I guess we'll give a little backstory of like how we kind of got into investing, because kind of took a little bit to get there. We definitely 2021, would you say? When did we sell our house?
2021, yeah.
So yeah, in 2021, we decided we were going to sell our townhome and we were going to reel it back. We were going to, really cut back on spending. We bought a camper. We lived in that camper in my parents' backyard for a year through dedication. The New England.
That's dedication.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so, all of that was, our plan was to build our house, our next house, and to invest. And we were looking in Massachusetts for investment properties, and it's just, it's just hard to get into the market up here. So it was almost like perfect timing because we were in like a spot where we were like, do we even want to build up here? Do we want to invest up here? And then we met Rhett. So it was almost just like
game changer.
Yeah, like perfect timing. So
yeah, and obviously, especially where we are, like when we were about to build, we had everything all lined up and the rates just started to skyrocket. Material was going up like crazy. The housing market was going, and it was becoming insane. And we were about to pull the trigger, be like, all right, let's go pour the foundation. We had the plans right over here. And we're ready to go. And then thankfully we met you and we were like, oh, hold on, let's pump the brakes here and let's look at this route. And it's been absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, and guys, so you bought a piece of land to build a house, and you recently sold that to take the money and move it into more rental properties. Is that right?
Yeah. So yeah, we took everything from the sale of from our townhouse, and then we sold the land, and then we were living in a camper.
So we were saving.
Yeah, we were saving. Rhett, I sold my truck.
Yeah, he did. You sold your truck.
I sold my truck, and it was all about we've always been really good about our finances. And I think that really kind of started at a young age. I was always about saving. And like I said, I was pretty big in the stock market, and I was like, oh, you know what? I need to start diversifying my portfolio. And we really wanted to get into real estate. And then, yeah, we decided to unleash everything and be like, hey, rental properties, let's get rolling here. And,
yeah, I think like all of our stuff from our house is still in a storage,
in a storage unit. Yeah, it's been there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think more than that. A little more than that.
Crazy. And what drove you guys to Section 8 in particular? So Meg, you're in real estate, you're an agent, you do media marketing for real estate companies. What drove you specifically to Section 8? Ryan, you are a police officer, and I'm sure that you're in areas where there's a lot of government subsidized housing too. So I'm sure you were exposed to it as well. What kind of brought you guys and narrowed that focus to the point where you said, you know, I want to do this?
Yeah, I would say guaranteed money by the government, right? That was definitely, because that's what everyone kind of looks at, right? Like guaranteed money. But really the way I looked at it is it's a way to help people. And being a police officer, like I like to help people. Like that's my job. That's the number one thing, right? Is helping people. And I feel like the way Section 8 affordable housing works is, yeah, you're getting paid and stuff like that, but at the same time too, you're providing people with good homes. You're taking them out of bad areas and putting them in a good situation. And I think there's a big myth about it, right? Like people say like, oh, they destroy your units and stuff like that. Like we got 4 now and not one issue has happened. But issues happen all the time, even with cash tenants, probably more. Because you know this, right? Like if someone destroys that property, they could lose their voucher for life. So they're going to take pride in that. They're going to take care of that. And that kind of drew us like big into it. And obviously being in the Southeast, investing down there, it's like, okay, it's landlord friendly. Like I like that protection.
Yeah.
Where we live, it's very tenant friendly. So that was a big thing too.
Yeah, the tenant friendly thing really scares me from like where
we're
from.
Yeah, and you guys being up in Massachusetts, the landlord tenant laws are so skewed in the favor of the tenant that it's scary to put money into investment property, because just like California, just like New York and a lot of states that have unbelievably anti-landlord laws, you could be in a really tough spot. And in Massachusetts during COVID was actually one of the highest rates of eviction post-COVID, because the governmental rent moratorium that the governor instituted in Massachusetts was held in place for longer than most other states. So people didn't have to pay their rents. And then of course, when they lift those moratoriums, people are so used to not paying rent, they still don't pay rent. So anytime that we can get into 2 things you guys said, great. Number one, the guaranteed government money, extremely important. And then Meg, I don't blame you. I'm also afraid of investing in areas that have super tenant friendly laws. And you guys basically, you said, forget that, we're out of here. And you went down south, you invested in a market in the Southeast, which is about 1,300 miles from where you guys live. How many times have you been there? How many times have you seen your 4 properties that you have? Talk to me about, you know, the times you touched them and when you walked through them and that sort of thing.
Never.
Yeah, we never have. And I mean, we've always said like, oh, maybe like we'll go down there. But like the great thing about it with your program, so that is we don't have to. You know, having that right team in place, we don't have to. You know, we have the right property management companies. We have everything that we need. So there's really no reason to go down there.
Yeah, but I think we want to eventually, just to like
absolutely
for our own sake, we want to like visit, but yeah, there's no need.
I think the other thing too that we didn't touch on is the fact that Section 8 is essentially it's recession proof, right? That's a big thing that we looked at too. We looked at a lot of different angles of it and the pros and cons, and there was way more pros than there were cons. So it was really a no-brainer for us.
Yeah, and you guys are going to have to go down there at some point, because if you guys keep doing this at this rate, you're going to have 20 properties in the next couple of years. You have to go down at some point and see what you're buying.
Yeah, actually, before we got on this, we got contacted. There's most likely a 5th property within the next couple of days.
That's
so seller's agent hit us back up and they were like, "Hey, you guys still interested?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually, you know what?
Why not?
Why not? Because it works.
Yeah.
It works. I'm sure we're gonna dive more into it, but like you know, utilizing the Burr method and stuff like that, you know, it's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah, so let's dive more into it. So guys, why don't you tell everybody who's watching this right now a little bit about what your methodology has been, because it's changed since we got started.
Mhm.
The first two houses that you bought, we bought with financing up front, right?
Mhm.
And then the second two houses you bought are more along the Burr method. So let's talk about those a little bit and what you learned. So the first house you bought was with 30-year fixed rate financing, right?
Yes.
And what has been the difference between the 30-year fixed rate products and the Burr method that you guys have done? What do you like about each one? What are the differences? Talk a little bit about what you guys like, what you dislike, and what the differences in those two methods are.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we like both of them, as we kind of got to play the numbers and see what works for us at that moment. So financing, we definitely saw a high cash flow on that. When you do the Burr method, it could be a little bit lower in cash flow, a little bit less money out of pocket when we finance. And I think when we did the first finance, it was kind of just getting our feet wet, right? We didn't really dive right into it. And I think you do a great job about like, hey, listen, we're gonna go brick by brick. We're gonna slowly build this thing up. And like you said, in just a matter of months, we have 4.
Yeah,
So
after that first one, we were like, let's go.
well, we saw it because it was quick, right, Rhett? It happened so fast. I think it was within 2 weeks, rehab was already pretty much like we got the quote back. Like the first one was done within a month, I would say, once we got in. And then you can't beat that 100% voucher. So that was huge. And we started seeing that come. We're like, all right, hey. And then we moved on to the second one. And we're like, that one we really got to steal for. That one that's our biggest cash flow right now. That one's doing great. And then we were like, hey, you know what? Maybe let's take it to the next level here. I really want to buy a property and add tremendous value to it, knowing that everything is brand new. Maintenance is going to be very minimal. And
I also like the process of the
love the process of the Burr method.
Fun.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I love seeing like the before and after because they're so drastic. I just love that.
And then the after repair value on them is just through the roof. It's unbelievable. And then you start getting into the cash out refinance. On the third one, we took 80% back. So I mean that was crazy. We just moved it right into the fourth one, and then it's just a domino effect at that point.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that a little bit. So with the Burr method, you guys are in the process of doing a traditional Burr right now, where we buy a house, we do a lot of work to it, we buy it cheap, we do a lot of work to it, we add bedrooms to it, and then we're going to get an appraisal value on it. And then we're going to get 75% of the value of the appraisal. But for the third house you guys did, you used a different product, which was a loan to cost product. So basically, as long as you spend $100,000 or more, no appraisal value, you get 80% of everything that you spent, which is a very interesting product because there's no seasoning period. You get your money back right away. There's not a lot of lenders that offer something like this. What was that process like to you? Because this is the first time you guys have bought a house in cash. So a little bit different. Like we said, you have this big rehab, which I remember when you guys bought that house, and guys, everybody watching, I'll put a video of Meg and Ryan's house in this below so you can see what it looked like when we first did it. And it's been on the channel. Some of you have probably already seen it without knowing that it's their two properties. But I walked through it and I was like, oh my God, this house is a piece of crap. I mean, what'd you guys buy that for? Like 30 something thousand?
I think it was 30,000.
Yeah.
Rehab one was like 70, 75.
And we gutted it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sending you a video and being like, oh my goodness, they are going to be horrified when they see what this stuff looks like.
Part where he was like, I couldn't, if he couldn't breathe or something like that because it smelled so bad or something.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you remember, I remember that when the ceilings were caving and all the water protruding. It was was unbelievable. We did new sewer lines, water lines, roof. We did everything to that.
Yeah.
It was awesome though. I wouldn't change that. I would do the same thing going forward all the time. I think we love that so much.
Mm-hmm. And I love seeing the after and comparing what it used to look like to now.
And then at the same time too, it's like the tenants they're gonna like that. They're getting a brand new house.
Right.
That's awesome. That's what I want. I want them to be happy. I want them to feel safe. And in return, they're going to take care of us. So
Definitely. And that house in particular, guys, so that was a house that needed everything. So we gutted it because it has all new water lines. It has all new electrical wiring. It has all new electrical meters, electrical service lines. It's got incoming water lines. It's got outgoing sewer lines. It's got a brand new roof. It's got new kitchen. It's got brand new bathroom. It's got new subfloor throughout the entire house. I mean, it has everything. That is literally the epitome of a burr, because what I talk to clients a lot about, and you guys are actually witnessing this firsthand, which I think is extremely important. So on that house, not only is everything in there brand new, and we're not going to have any maintenance issues. It's got a brand new HVAC, all new ductwork ventilation as well. But you have so much of the work, because it's brand new, it's also warranted. So even if something happens to it, it's covered. But you have new water heater, new everything there. The next 10 to 20 years for you is maintenance free, right? And then we talk about, like, the first two houses you guys bought that we bought with financing. We didn't do those large scale rehabs to them. And the first couple months of ownership, you get nickel and dimed a little bit. You get beat up a little bit, because we're inheriting someone else's craftsmanship, workmanship. We're inheriting a property where we don't know how old the HVAC is. We don't know how old the roof is. Now we can look at the age and the year the HVAC left the factory, but that doesn't mean it's been in that house for that long. We don't know how old the electrical is, the plumbing is, the pipes are, the roof system. So you kind of take a little bit of a chance. And a lot of times when we buy homes with financing, that first 3 to 4 month period, we have to figure out what is failing under the stress test. And every house that clients buy, we send our people in there, and before it gets inspected for Section 8, we turn the water on, we turn all the showers on, we flush all the toilets, we open up all the drains, we turn all the lights on in all the rooms and shut them off, looking for failures. But nothing can ever really capture the stress that a family of 4 or a family of 3 or a family of 5 puts on a unit every single day, with toilets, with drainage, with, laundry, and with electrical, and plugging items in and charging this and using the stove. That's when we really see what needs to be fixed. So I'm really excited for you guys, because the house that you just closed on, big project, the rehab that we're doing right now, that we're in the middle of right now. And that's a really cool one, because we're doing everything there as well. And one thing that Ryan and I were talking about off camera was, new sewer lines, new plumbing. Amazing. And Ryan, you're thrilled about that, because
absolutely.
One of the biggest issues with these houses can be sewer lines. So being able to basically start with financing and add properties that way, and then start using the burr method, you guys have basically, in a matter of just half a year, you've done 4 houses, which is more than probably 99% of people your age, but you've onboarded them in different ways. So it's given you the experience of doing things differently, which has given you years and years of experience. So now you've got 4, you've got a 5th under contract apparently, and now you have an idea of how you want to continue to build the portfolio, because you've done multiple homes in different ways.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a journey. And like I said, I really wouldn't change it for anything. I'm really happy that we went with even financing the first time still. I wouldn't change anything. And that's not to say that down the road too, we could finance another one, right? If the numbers work and we talk and stuff like that, finance could be a better option for us at that time. Like, as of right now, I'd say we are really enjoying that burr method. That kind of method right now. It's just been it's been great for us. And like you said, those sewer lines and stuff like that, like, when we talk, I'll say, Rhett, new sewer line. Like, I don't know what new sewer line, new roof, get it done. I'd rather pay it now than later.
That's the
right?
first thing that when he sent over, the list.
Yeah.
I literally said to you, I was like, "Yay, new sewer
Yeah,
line."
full refund. Love it. Let's get that done.
And the reason you feel that way is because on one of the ones you bought with financing, we had somebody in there for 2 weeks and there was a sewer issue, right?
Yes.
We went over there, we blew the lines out, we cleared it. We went back over there 3 weeks later because another sewer line. And we had an option. We could have fixed it, gone in, cut a piece of the pipe out, put a piece of PVC in there to replace it, but it's not the right thing to do. And that's when you said, hey, you know what? We don't want to keep paying for this. Let's fix it once and for all and do it right. And that's, that's what we do in these large scale rehabs. And that's why they're so successful. So buying the turnkey is great because it serves its purpose, right? You get your foot in the door, you understand, like you said, you get your feet wet a little bit. You understand, okay, this is what it's like working with me. This is what it's like working with our management company, our realtors, our contractors, our lenders, everybody. And you say, okay, this is sustainable. I like this. The team's good at what they do. And we can see ourselves putting more money and investing here because it works. And then you continue to get more comfortable, which then allows you to take on what seems like bigger risk, which really, you guys know, we facilitate everything. There's not much risk involved at all, especially when your first tenant has a 100% voucher, And that brings up something else. And guys, I'm getting long-winded here. You guys know I usually don't talk this much on these interviews, but we've done so much in such a short amount of time. And Ryan, the conversations we have at length are really in depth. And I want to kind of share that with some of the viewers. But with your first home, we had a situation where we could have taken a tenant that was going to pay more rent and have a little bit less of a subsidy. Instead, we went with a tenant that the rent was a little bit less and it's 100% subsidy. What was that mentality in choosing the tenant that paid a little bit less rent, but had a 100% payment every month from the government?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way we kind of looked at that and we assessed that whole situation is we wanted to make sure that, because we financed, right? We had a mortgage on that property. We still do. We want to make sure that mortgage payment and the property management fee, everything is covered. Mm-hmm. And then whatever's left over is our cash flow. With the other tenant that had a little less voucher amount, we wanted that comfort knowing that, hey, no matter what, we're going to get paid. It's going to cover all of our expenses. And we felt very comfortable with that. And even though it's a little bit under, we'll file for a rent increase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll get that right back up. No problem. I'm not worried about that. Let's get everything else covered, especially being our first one too. Yeah. We want to make sure, hey, everything is covered. Mm-hmm. And it worked out great. And yeah, that was kind of our method behind it. For sure.
Yeah, which I love, and you guys are killing it. You've literally, we met last July, right, or end of June. Mm-hmm. In 1 year, you guys have, and we didn't get started at that point. It was a month or two, or even maybe a little bit more after that. In that time period, you have almost 5 houses. You think about your velocity, and a couple of years from now, you're going to have 20, 30, 40 of these things. You see how fast you can add them. The inventory's there, the ability's there, the capital from your standpoint's there, especially with how you're conducting the methodology behind this, using the BRRRR method, but also using a combination of financing, which people ask me about all the time. Well, can I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that? Can we do the BRRRR and buy in cash, but also use financing? Absolutely. You guys are a perfect example of that. What has been your experience so far with Section 8? I know there's a lot of people out there who talk poorly of Section 8, who say tenants are going to destroy the units, they're extremely needy, they're this, they're that. What has your experience been so far with the program?
Yeah, honestly,
it's been great.
It has been great.
Our tenants are very sweet.
They're very sweet. Yeah, like we've been in touch. Like I love staying like in communication with the property. Like you know, you can be like very hands-on in this program, or you can kind of kick back a little bit. That's the great thing about it. And with us, we like to kind of just like stay in communication. So like I'll reach out to the property manager, the leasing agent, stuff like that. And like, hey, just like how's the tenant doing, stuff like that. Awesome. There's no issues. They're not destroying anything. They're doing everything that they're supposed to do. And I think they also take care of it too, because we're rehabbing these properties the right way. You know, we're giving these people like, hey, you're getting the best of the best right now. Like you are taken care of, and in return, we're going to get taken care of. So as far as like the program and everything's been great. I mean, I talk with the lenders, the property management, I'm always talking with all of them throughout the week. You know, I just have that ability, and I love to talk to people, and I like to build relationships. I think that's a very important thing. And it's almost like I'm not directly like talking with the tenant. Like I work through with the property management. I don't want to step on anybody's toes and stuff like that, but I'll let them know, hey, listen, how's that tenant doing? Like, just let them know, like, you know, if they need anything, definitely reach out. And we haven't had any issues at all. Like you mentioned, that sewer line, that's not the tenant's fault. That was just something that just happened. It just needed to be replaced, you know?
They've been very respectful. Like, you know,
super respectful.
One of them, I think, asked if they could have a guinea pig, and we were like, of course.
Yeah, they had a guinea pig, and I said, you know what, absolutely, absolutely. And I get feedback too from property manager. We do, and they'll say, hey, listen, you know, the tenant is, you know, very thankful that, you know, whatever may be that we did or something like that. So they're very appreciative. So yeah, there's nothing bad. I can't think of anything. And can you think of anything?
No.
Because there's nothing wrong.
Sweet.
Like there's nothing. Everything's been great, and really opened our eyes up a lot, because, you know, up here, Section 8, it's a different ball game. It's different. You know, these individuals and people that, you know, down in the Southeast and stuff like that, like, you know, they need this too. And it's like, you know what, they're going to take pride in that. They're going to take care of it. So yeah, it's been great, you know, and we really enjoy helping people out. I think that's the most important thing.
Well, you think about what impact you've had in such a short amount of time. And this is one of the coolest things for me in the position that I'm in, because I get to see people like you who have had such an unbelievable impact in such a short amount of time. And you think about it, you've got 4 houses, another one on the way. And thinking about that, it's not just 4 houses, that's 4 families that you've taken out of a housing project, that you've taken out of a shelter, that you've taken out of a situation that is not good, and moved them into beautiful homes where when they have a problem, somebody goes and takes care of it. Or, you know, they want a guinea pig. And I'm sure you guys probably laughed. They were like, of course, like, what is that? You know? So it's just the impact that you're having, you don't understand. And a lot of my clients don't, because you don't go to these properties and you don't get to see these people and meet them, which I hope one day you will. But when I go to these areas and I get to go and check in on these houses and meet these people, you see the difference that you're actually making. So thank you guys for that. You should be so proud of yourselves, because you're actually making a difference. You're making great money. The houses are appreciating. The Burr method's working. You're making great cash flow and great cash on cash returns in the units that you have with financing. But on top of it all, you're making a huge difference as well.
Yeah, and honestly, this wouldn't happen if it weren't for you, your program, the right team. You know, we preach, right, like team, but it's having the right team. And that's the most important thing, and having trust in you. And, you know, we're so thankful for that, honestly, because we wouldn't be able to help these families if it wasn't for you and the team. So thank you. That's what.
Well, guys, it's all you. You know, I can show you the way, but you're the one that has to do it, and it's not easy. And a lot of people watching this right now have either taken the leap, or they're saying, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And there's can always be that block that says, okay, I want to do it. I want to change my life. I want to help other people, and I make money at the same time in a situation where everyone wins, which this is. But it's hard to do. And not everybody that has the ability to buy multiple houses in 12 months does. I mean, you guys have grinded to get to a position to where you're going to set yourself up for the rest of your life. You got a camper and lived in a camper for a year. I mean, that's dedication, right? I mean,
it's good to think about. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
we
And
got that picture one time of when we
We
were out in
will.
the snow. It was
oh,
like
I have to
a
see
huge snowstorm, and we're just like in the camper.
Yeah,
that.
it was a wild experience, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah,
You
me
know,
either.
But look what it's done. It's given you bought a piece of land to build a house. I'm sure you made money on that, right? You sell the piece of land that you were thinking about building a house on, you make money on it. You are able to save money because your expenses are lower, which then allow you to get more rental properties, which then allow you to set yourself up for the future. And keep in mind, of the four houses you have right now, three of them you have locked in at rates over 7%, right? So
yep,
when those rates fall, and soon to be a fourth one, once we do the burr on that, you're probably going to get over a 7% rate on that. And then the fifth one, when we do a burr on that, odds are, depending on when we close and when we start construction, you'll be getting over a 7% rate on that. So you'll have four properties with a fifth one on the way that you're going to have at a 7% interest rate or plus. And that's extremely important because when the rates fall, we're going to refinance everything. And you're going to have so much built in net that we're either going to be able to pull even more money out of it and put back in your pocket, or we're just going to refinance everything as is, not pull any capital out. So a non-cash out refinance, just a standard refinance, get the rates lower, hopefully closer to the low sixes in the next 12 to 18 months. And then it's just going to increase your net cash flow substantially on all these units. So a lot of people who are hesitant to buy right now because the rates are high, all you're doing is getting yourself in at a better price. We are always going to refinance when the rates fall. Every year, we're always going to file for Section 8 rental increases, which Ryan, you mentioned earlier in this video. We're always going to do those things. So constantly, we are increasing revenues yearly, decreasing expenses like interest rates when we have the opportunities to. So you guys have put yourself in such a great position because of the sacrifices that you made. Yes, you have a really good team, but you guys are also on that team, and you're the reason why everybody can do what they do. And you're the one that's right in the middle of it and really making it happen. So if you guys could speak to a husband and wife team, or someone that's your age that's watching this right now, that's debating on whether or not they should get involved in this, and you could talk to them right now, what would you tell them?
you think?
100% do it. I think too, like a cool aspect that we have is like, I feel like when we were deciding to sell our house and, jump in on this process, like full speed, like saving and all of that, I feel like you were more like 100% ready and I was a little bit nervous, but I feel like now looking back at my, younger self, I feel like there was nothing to be nervous about. And, you just gotta, take the leap of faith and trust your gut. And it's been great. So
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, as far as a couple, you got to both be on the same page.
yeah, same team.
It's got to be together. And another thing I would say, like, maybe people that are our age, we always went off of live below our means right now. That was always been a thing, and we've always been focused on acquiring assets and let those assets pay for our liabilities. Yeah, we want the nice car and stuff like that. That will come. You got to sacrifice a little bit early on, but you'll get those things. And I think we've always been focused on that. Like, hey, listen, like, we know that we will get to where we want to be, but right now we got to take a little bit of a sacrifice, save up a little bit more money or something like that. Do your homework, reach out to you. They're more than welcome to reach out to me. Get as much information as you can, because I think that's going to lessen the risk, honestly. But anything in life is a risk. Everything. Life isn't. It's hard. You know what I mean? But surround yourself with people that have the things that you want. And I think that's like a big thing that we kind of really focus on. That really helped us. And if we were doing this when we were 16 or 18, it'd be.
I know, right?
It'd be game over at that point. But I wouldn't change anything for the world.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think setting the goal for yourself, and then not, like, obviously for us, because we're a team, like we had our goals and we set them, and we didn't really ever, I feel like we don't, help me out here, like, what I'm trying to say, like, we set our goal and we stay like focused on what we're trying to accomplish, instead of like, veering off of the path
Yep,
and getting
absolutely.
distracted, you know?
Yeah, we're definitely determined, very focused couple. Like
Mhm.
we work together. It's almost one vision.
Mhm.
I think that's also very special too, that we just have. But like, even also to mention too, like all these numbers, and we can hop on another video at some point down the road. We can run through numbers and stuff. That the numbers on these properties are absolutely ridiculous. Like they're insane. And these numbers are super conservative. So when you went back about your interest rates and stuff like that, when we did all these numbers, so for people to think like, hey, I want to make $500, something like that, like it can happen. They just need to do their homework a little bit. They got to do their due diligence on it, run your numbers conservatively. You might not make a lot of money in the beginning. Like we're doing well, but we're not breaking the bank or anything like that. But in a couple of years, we're going to refinance. That cash flow is going to go up, and you're going to get those things. And it's a long-term game. And I think most people right now just kind of want to get rich quick and stuff like that. Just slow down a little bit.
Mhm.
Slow down a little bit. You'll get there. We didn't think we'd have 4 properties right now, Rhett. Honestly, we went into this as like, hey, let's do one and we'll go from there.
I still remember talking about it. We were like, we're going to do one. We'll start with one. And
Yep.
it's like, bam.
And listen, we didn't like
Four.
4, yeah. Like and that 5th one it sounds like that's right coming right down the line. So it kind of just happens that way, like, and I will say this though, like, let's not discredit, we've worked really hard. I put a lot of hours into to stockpile some money and stuff like that. And, we worked hard. So sometimes you gotta sacrifice, you gotta get out there, you gotta grind a little bit, but it'll pay off. It definitely will. So,
well, guys,
go and do it.
I don't know if there's a better answer I've ever heard for that. If you guys aren't fired up after listening to that, then I can't fire you up. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm gonna put below. We have, I think, 3 or 4 videos of Ryan and Meg's projects. We have one of their first ones I'm going to put below, if not 2 of their first 2. And then we have one of their big Burr method homes we're going to put below here, and I'll label them in the description. I also want to put in the description, you guys have a channel on Instagram that you talk about financial advice, saving money. What is the handle for that? And I'm going to put that in the description below as well. Where can they find you on Instagram?
Yeah, J Asset Investing is the Instagram, is the handle for it.
Okay. And I'm going to put that for you guys, so you guys can check them out on Instagram as well. And please, as always, leave questions, comments. Ryan and Meg are always in the comment section, so I'm sure they'll be thrilled to answer any questions you have. And guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.